Hey all, welcome to another Skullchewer battle report, and today once again Chaos versus Orks, where I try and regain some Orky honour that I lost so badly last week. We rolled Hammer and Anvil deployment with the Relic mission. The Relic is right there in the centre of the table. Hello. For Warlord traits I got Inspiring Presence and Chaos got Hatred. Hatred Incarnate, apologies. For deployment, over this end we have Wazdaka Gutsmech, who I've never played before as a Warlord, but I made a new Ork Warbiker boss model, so I thought I'd try it. He's got some Warbiker knobs with him. There's a Gretchen big gun behind him there. More bikers, some Deathcopters, looted wagon with some stuff inside it, truck with stuff inside it, Deathcopters, 15 shooter boys, another Gretchen big gun, 15 shooter boys. Then all the way down here, Hellbrute for Chaos, some sort of Rhino, another sort of Rhino, another sort of Rhino, some Chaos Bikers, and Chaos have elected to take an Aegis defense line. There's some Chaos dudes in there with the Aegis defense line, and lots of spiky bits. So Chaos have got initiative, they're going to go first. I'm going to start with Chaos turn 1. And so that was Chaos turn 1. Hellbrute and this Rhino moved up. And over here, these two Rhinos moved up. Those guys stayed with the Aegis defense line. These Rhinos open fire with Havoc launchers and combi bolters, or whatever it is that's on the Rhinos, onto the bikers there and here, but didn't really do anything. And then this squad with the Aegis defense line opened fire on what was a squad of Deathcopters right there and ripped them to pieces. That scored them first blood. And that's it so far. Not a lot of action, but first blood to Chaos straight away. Didn't take long. So we'll go into Orc turn 1 now. Okay, that was the end of Orc turn 1. Not a great start. Over there, both of the squads of shooter boys have run forwards. They've got no range on anybody. Those Deathcopters move forwards. That looted wagon moved forwards, opened fire on this Rhino, but did no damage. That truck has gone into hiding behind there. More on why in a minute. Or next turn, maybe. These bikers opened fire on the same Rhino and took one hull point off it. Wazdaka and his Ork biker knobs rather, came round the corner, opened fire on the unit of Chaos Bikers that were there and destroyed 2. That, where are they? Those Gretchen cannon have moved. They can't fire this turn because it's artillery and they've moved. That's it for Orc turn 1. Yep, 3+.
4 wounds.
4 wounds. What's the AP?
AP4.
AP4, okay, so this is all against Wazdaka, so that's going to be 4 feel no pains from the pain boy in the unit. Oops, we're rolling that
4
again.
5s, isn't it, if you roll?
4 5s. 1, 2, a 6, 2 5s, and a 3. So 1 is failed, so he loses 1 wound.
1 wound.
Nice. Well done, Wazdaka.
Bloody hell. Right.
Giant cat, giant cat. Catzilla. Okay, that was Chaos turn 2. What happened in Chaos turn 2? Various stuff fired down the table towards Wazdaka. Wazdaka has now been reduced to 1 wound. He's been soaking up the hits for his unit. He's got a pain boy behind him, which means he's been getting saves despite armor penetration. These Chaos Marines piled out of that Rhino and have taken the Relic, but they haven't taken it anywhere yet. They also killed 3 bikers from that unit, leaving 1 biker knob who's down to 1 wound and hasn't run away, amazingly. over here, these guys fired down here and did nothing. So no casualties in terms of full units, although those 3 bikers are dead. But the relic has been taken by Chaos. We'll move on to Orc turn 2 and find out what happens after that. Meow. And that was the end of Orc turn 2. Orc turn 2. This cannon fired down to that rhino. It didn't hit it. These Orc boys moved forwards a bit. Deathcopters came along here, reduced the armour on that rhino to 1. Sorry, 1 hull point, not armour. That end of the table, the Grot killer cannon destroyed the last Chaos biker that was here. Wazdacker and his biker pack have moved up, open fire on this Aegis defence line, and I've quickly learnt not to bother because that is just taking too much to kill. Didn't do any damage at all. Zogwart unloaded from the truck. Yes, I have brought Zogwart again. Even though he failed miserably last time and died horribly in flames, Zogwart is back on the table. He jumped out of the truck with his boys, moved out of that building, and cursed the leader of that unit and turned him into a squig. Hooray! Squiggy! He then fired on the unit, killed a couple, and then the burner boys inside that looted wagon drove up, toasted a load of other Chaos Marines there, and then these boys ran around the corner, opened fire, killed the last of those Chaos Marines that were there, scoring a point because it was a scoring unit, and freeing up the objective. That last remaining warbiker charged the back of that rhino but didn't do any damage. So that's it for Orc turn 2. We'll move on to Chaos turn 3. Everything's up in the air, the relic is still untaken, and we're on even points.
Actually, Ray, could you run jet bikes?
I honestly don't know. If they were
Technically, I'm sure you can.
They're on skimmer bases, so they're quite high. I honestly don't know. I don't see why not. I don't think there's anything in the rules that says they can't be rammed.
They don't really get line of sight, do they? Do they have it? Possibly.
Yeah, I'd give you that.
Yeah.
Ah, the Hellbrute comes into play. And that's the end of Chaos turn 3. In that round, we'll start over here. The Hellbrute moved up, opened fire on the looted wagon and blew it up. Out-tumbled 5 burner boys that were inside, now reduced to 3 burner boys because that rhino opened fire on them and killed 2. Nothing much happened here. Round here, the turbo laser thing in the Aegis defence line and the Havocs here opened fire on Wazdacker and his boys, killing Wazdacker. Wazdacker is dead. 1 point for units, for 1 point for, what's it called? Warlord Slayer. 1 Warbiker Nob was left behind. He's down to 1 wound and fleeing. These Noise Marines filed out of their Rhino transport, opened fire down here and destroyed the Gretchen big gun. And that's it. The relic is still over there, kind of uncontested. There's nobody holding the relic at the moment. We're going into Orc turn 3 next, so they will probably pick it up and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, that was the end of Orc turn 3, I believe. What happened that turn? Okay, at the start of the turn, Zogwart's psychic power, his random weird voice psychic power was here we go, which means he teleported, and using the deep strike rules, he came over here, behind this building. And he's staying there for now. I'll explain why later. These Orc boys ran around here. That truck came out from behind the building, it's behind him, and it's gone around there. That biker rallied, amazingly, and he's moved his consolidating 3-inch move. The grots that were manning the cannon that got blown up have moved forwards. The squig, the squig that was formerly the Chaos Champion, has moved forwards for me and claimed the relic. That squad of boys has moved around and is kind of just moved in to take cover around the squig with the relic. Those burners have moved forwards into that building to take cover. That biker is still locked in combat with that rhino, doing nothing, just clanging on the back, hoping for a glance. And then that Gretchen big gun fired down here and blew up that Chaos Rhino, disengorging the Chaos Marines on the side and killing one. The Deathcopters, they are a bit duff this game actually. They fired on the rear of the Hellbrute and it all pinged off and just annoyed it probably. So there we go. Chaos are, I think, leading because they got Warlord Slayer. I think we're on 2-1 to points. Aaron will correct me in a minute. However, Orks have the relic. The Orc Squig has the relic. Zogwart has been useful. That was Chaos turn 4. So we had, at the end of Orc turn 3, there was a group of shooter boys there protecting that squig that's taken the relic. The Havocs, the big bloody lasery thing in the Aegis defense line, and those Marines all opened fire onto those boys that were there and destroyed them, killing that entire unit. The Noise Marines here fired on the only remaining Orc Warbiker, which they killed, and he's dead. That Rhino rammed that truck and did no damage to either of them, so they both just sat there having a Tesco's car park argument about who needs to reverse. The Hellbrute over here fired its flamer inside the building to where there were 3 burner boys, but they are now dead. How ironic, the burners got burnt. And I believe that is it. The relic is still being held by the squig. That Rhino is still in combat with that Warbiker who's just sat there clanging on the back door saying no, you can't shoot or move. And that's it so far. So we're going to move on to Orc turn 4, still everything to play for. So that's the end of Orc turn 5. Down here, Zogwart and his mob of slugger boys stepped out from behind cover, attempted to curse the Chaos Warlord over there, and failed. They're just stood out in the open now, ready for Chaos to cut them to pieces. Over here, this plucky bunch of Gretchen fired upon the Noise Marines, scored 1 hit which didn't wound, of course. That biker is still for some reason locked in combat with a Rhino he can't hurt, but he's keeping it locked up. The truck that was rammed in the previous round by that Rhino has moved over here to block that squig running away with the relic. The Deathcopters and those 15 shooter boys fired upon these Marines and took out about 5 or 6 of them, I believe. That grot cannon has moved up a bit. Can't fire this round because it's artillery and it's moved in the same round, and it can't fire in the round that it moves. And that's about it. The squig is running away with the relic. Formerly a Chaos Champion, now an Orc relic capturing unit. Infantry independent character. Alright, that's Orc turn 5. We're going to go into Chaos turn 5 and see what happens next. Okay, that was Chaos turn 5, and a lot happened in Chaos turn 5. Starting down this end, Zogwart and his boys were left here out in the open. The quad cannon, the Chaos Havocs and the Chaos Lord ripped into Zogwart's boys, killed most of them, leaving 2 boys and Zogwart. Zogwart still on full wounds and made their morale checks, they didn't flee. The evil bloody Noise Marines very cruelly killed the lovely little Gretchen that was standing here doing nobody any harm at all. The truck, which had moved up to block the squig that had the relic, got blown up by this Rhino, and using the truck ramshackle rules for Ork trucks, it went out of control and moved aside conveniently before blowing up, so it was blocking the relic no longer. This Hellbrute destroyed one Deathcopter. There's still that battle going on there between the Rhino and the Warbiker that can't actually hurt each other, but it's keeping that Rhino busy. And then those Chaos Marines charged the Squig that was running away. So earlier on in the game, Zogwart had turned the Chaos Champion into a Squig. The Squig was an independent character, infantry, and it was a troop before it was turned into a Squig. So we're saying it was able to pick up the relic and run away. It's been scampering away for most of the game, and then the Chaos Marines charged it and destroyed it. The Chaos Marines now have the relic, so Chaos are winning. We're going to go on to Ork turn 5 and see what happens. Okay, that was Ork turn 5. Squad of boys that were there have moved and run up behind this building. 2 remaining Deathcopters flew up to fire on those Chaos Marines there that are holding the relic. I think they killed 1, maybe 2. The Grots, Gretchen with the big gun, fired and did get a direct hit but didn't do any damage. And in an amusing turn of fate, the Squig that took the relic earlier in the game is now dead. Zogwart, however, then cursed the Chaos Warlord that was here and turned him into a Squig, which is now running over here. And that was it for Ork turn 5. I've got a new Squig on the table. We rolled for variable game length and got a continuation, so we're going to go into Chaos turn 6 now and see where we go from there. So that is the end of Chaos turn 6, and Orks are going to concede defeat on this one because I don't really think there's much I can do to bring it back. The relic is in the hands of that Chaos Marine unit there, being supported by those Noise Marines. There's a Rhino with a Havoc launcher there. Hellbrute is still on full hull points. And then you've got the Aegis defense line here with Havocs and the quad cannon laser thingy. Don't know what the hell that thing's called. Quad gun. All I've got is that Warbiker who's locked in combat with that Rhino still clanging against each other. A Squig that is running away. Well, he's not actually running away, I moved him away. And then over here there's a unit of boys. That's about all I've got. The Deathcopters were destroyed that turn. I've got those boys there, the Gretchen there with that cannon, but they can't really hit anything at the moment. So I think we're going to call it. So at the end of the game, we were on 4 points to 3 for scoring. And then at the end, Chaos have got control of the relic, which gives them another 3 points, bringing us to 7 points to 3. So game over, Chaos win. Good game. Thanks for watching. See you again.